It's Rob!
Tony!
We're in gaming!
And that's you!
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshak if you want to call me by my in-game name. And today we're going to be doing some deck testing on the Ramp Druid. Haven't really played this deck at all since I modified it with a couple changes, so it's a little bit different than probably what you've seen on the ladder lately, played by a few of our streamers that love to play Ramp Druid, such as Dog. I haven't actually recorded in quite a few days due to the fact that, again, as we know, school's been kicking my ass. And I actually went up to UF to visit some friends, so haven't recorded in, I think, 3 or 4 days, but that shouldn't change anything too much besides me being a little rusty. Also, off the bat, let me mention that for those of you who are new to the Inn and you're not familiar with how we kind of do our deck guides and what, or not deck guides, but deck testing and what to expect, so we play the deck for roughly 30, 45-ish minutes. We talk about what I do and why I do it. And then maybe if we'll make some modifications to the deck as we go along. Those are always good things. But it's not really so much a deck guide as us just testing the deck, seeing what we can do to improve it. And then once we've found like that niche spot that the deck runs really well in, we'll go ahead and make our deck guide from there. So we'll Raven Idol into most likely a spell here, looking for probably the Wild Growth of the Innervate, as this is the Ramp Druid. Didn't get any of that. We're playing against a Shaman, so we know Healing Touch is always going to be good because we're going to probably be taking a sizable amount of damage. Mark of Nature is okay, but I think the Swipe is the best card here, as this deck does kind of lack that the CC spells. It doesn't have a ton of field clear, and Swipe's always good. Okay, Swipe is good in moderation, but when we have 3 swipes in our hand, we may in fact have too many swipes at that point, but who knows? We can swipe left, we can swipe right, and then we can, you know, we can swipe up or down. We just need one more swipe, and then we can swipe literally in every direction. Also, let me just make a note that there's something I was gonna say. Give me a second. So we could actually Living Roots one of these, passive and kill it, and then swipe one of them next turn, or we just make 2/1/1 Groots, but then he trades off 1 each. And that would put these at, ooh, questionable. What if he rolls a Healing Totem? He played this, he coined it out, so he's not going to be playing this. If he swings 1 and 1, that's 2 and 2. And then if we swipe 1, that doesn't feel that great. So I think we just go ahead and just kill 1. If you guys haven't heard in the news, there was a shooting downtown Orlando with a club, and there was like 50 people dead. I actually live like 5 miles away from there, so just kind of not giving a shout out, but just like pray for those people who, you know, they go out on a Friday night to a club, and then little do they know it's gonna get like attacked by some person that's obviously not right in the head. So it's just like, sometimes maybe if you're like in a different country or in a different state, when you hear of 50 people dying, it's just like, alright, well that sucks, but it doesn't really affect you. And that's normally, you know, human nature. If it doesn't directly interact with you, you feel bad, but you don't really, you know, there's no empathy there. But like, with it being literally down the road from my house, it's pretty insane. So yeah, that's just a crazy story. I figure I'd let you guys know. It's literally like, I've been to the place, or been around the place that this the shooting happened. It's just insane. By the time you see this, it'll probably be like 2 weeks after, you know, it happened. It happened yesterday, but there's always the delay in the video. Alright, so we're definitely not going to swipe this dude. We can make 2/1/1 Groots. He's obviously going to kill one of them, and then he probably... Oh, man, this is hard. Our hand is so strange, right? I think we just Living Roots this down again. There's not really a reason not to. I wish we would have drawn into some of our ramp, like either 1 Wild Growth, an Ass Pirate, like, which is Darneth's Aspirant, Innervate, Mire Keeper. I guess we could have kept Mire Keeper from the start, but this just doesn't feel like a good card to keep, right? But I suppose it was better than having what we have now. Alright, so it looks like his hand's pretty weak too, if he just throws down the Mana Tide and nothing else. Also, he could be playing Control Shaman, which is always a thing. So we're just going to charge this out and definitely kill off this totem. But the problem is now, if he's playing Control Shaman, this is just going to get Storm Cracked. So essentially, we paid 5 mana for a card he can kill with 2 mana. But we'll see what happens. Oh! Actually, I'll talk about that in the next video. Alright, so he's going to Hex the 4/4, which is a little interesting. So we're just going to probably play Sylvanas here. yeah, we'll just play Sylvanas. Not really anything else to play, considering our hand is just filled with removal. Considering this deck, it's not really known for removal, right? Like, this is very strange to have a hand like this. Normally, it's a decent amount of creatures, considering this deck is Ramp Druid, and it aims to accelerate the game from the start to the end very quickly, whether it be Nourish, Wild Growths, Innervate, Mire Keeper. All of that kind of accelerates our mana crystals, but decreases our hand size. But because of how many creatures in our deck, how many creatures are in our deck, and how much they cost, it's normally not that big of a deal. He used double Hex, which shows me he doesn't have basically any other removal, which is really, really nice, because that's basically all they have. Normally I'd want a Wrath for 1 just to draw, but if we do that, this actually will live. So wrathing it for 3 feels pretty good. Yeah, we're just going to Wrath it for 3. And then we're going to attack into this totem. What a weak turn, guys. What a weak turn. Alright, so let's answer some comments in the chat, because this game is going exceedingly slow. Hey, Warshak, I am a budget player, so I want to know which deck without the Murloc Legend... Whoa, what's going on here? Hey, Warshak, I am a budget player, so I want to know, will deck work without the Murloc Legendary and Keeper of Uldaman? Will it be worth it to make? And you're talking about aggro Shaman. Alright, give me 1 second to complete this turn, and I'll get to you. So this, the Thunderbluff needs to die. If we swipe it, it has 2 HP left. Kills off both of these. So it's almost like a swipe Feral Rage. It feels bad, but it's gotta happen. Okay. So you're asking if you can make a aggro paladin without a Sir Finley Murgleton and Keeper of Uldaman. So both of those, I would say Sir Finley Murgleton, you don't have to have that card, as the passive from the paladin is decent. Obviously you want Warlock or Hunter, but that's okay. But I would have to say the Keeper of Uldamans are pretty important. Again, you could run it without them, but it's recommended you have them just because of how good they are. So, yes, you can play the deck without it, and yes, it will work, but maybe it won't be as consistent, but I suppose it's not as bad as taking out, you know, maybe like cards like Blessing of Kings and stuff like that. I think that's a little bit more important. Okie dokie, so he played another Valiant, which is protected by the Taunt, which is not good. Theoretically, we could double swipe it, but that doesn't feel good at all. So if we swipe this for 1, right, this hits this for 1. And then we pass this and hit that, and then this hits for 1, and then we swipe that, or we swipe this. There's no right way, right? It's like basically just double swipe the Valiant. That just feels terrible. Oh man, such a bad turn. We still have 2 Nourishes in the deck and a lot of our huge creatures, so not too bad. I made a Mukla Paladin hit rank 3. Nice, nice. Maximum Burton, he says, Legendary is in a beginner decks, wow, but you commented on our top 5 beginner decks that we posted like over a year ago, so obviously, not obviously, but I didn't really do a great job in that video in my opinion. I kind of built decks for our top 5 beginning players that you should strive to build, but not decks that people could build right away, which I changed it, I updated that, and I gave you the link to it, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Alright, anyway, under here, so it's either Taunt up with Claw and then summon a 2/2, or we could go ahead and Nourish, draw 3, and then just play the Claw. It's going to die, or then we don't summon this. If we summon that, it's going to swing into there. So I think a better play is just to go Taunt to build up the field the best we can. Because we can Nourish next turn and then maybe play a creature on top of that. But if we go Fang, or drew the Claw, and then draw, then we have basically nothing else. And then we still have no creatures left over after the 7/7 hits the 4/6. In this circumstance, we'll have maybe creatures left over, but it all depends. It wasn't, again, a really bad start for us, but it looked like a pretty slow start from him, too. Lightning Storm is definitely good for him. Hits 3 here. He's wondering if he should just swing a 7-7 in and then kill the 3-1. So our best draw right here would probably be a rat. I don't even want to, like, I don't even know. We need to kill this 7-3, but we're going to die most likely to the Doomhammer anyway, and this healing totem was just not so good. Alright, so we're going to draw 3 cards. Let's see what we get. Ass Pirate, we could have used your earlier. Sonaris, we could have definitely used you sooner. Alright, so we'll go into a spell. Let's see what we get. Maybe a swipe. Not a swipe. Starfire, a little too late. Mark of Nature doesn't do anything. Oh, man. This is brutal. This is brutal. Alright, well, this needs to die. And then we're taking 7 to the face. He'll probably just Rock Biter his weapon here, and we'll lose. This was a rough game. We didn't draw any of our early game besides the Living Roots, but besides that, it was ouchie boo-boos. We might make some modifications to it, though. I'm feeling we might make some modifications. Matthew Evans, love the new Hunter intro. Glad you enjoy it. Or love the Hunter outro. My bad, not intro. I was like, intro? What are you talking about? All right. So obviously he's just showing off a little bit. Good job. You beat your ramp druid. All right. Let's look into this deck and see what we can change. I honestly don't like the... Oh, no. What you know? I don't really like the Ass Pirates, to be completely honest. But it is... I feel like it goes well with what the deck's trying to accomplish, right? Like, what else could we add here? We already have Wars. We have Rag. We have Sonaris. Like, we're not really missing any of the huge Druid cards. We have a sizable amount of ramp. I mean, theoretically, we could put Savage Combatant in here, but that doesn't feel that great. Obviously, we're not putting Lore in here. I've seen some people run the Dark Arakoa, but I really don't feel like running that card, to be completely honest. I run him in Cthulhu, but I don't want to just run him naturally. And then everything bigger than this just doesn't feel that great to put into this deck. I mean, theoretically, you could put in the Bog Creepers, but I mean, then it just slows your deck down to like really, really slow. Like, I want to be able to at least stand a chance against aggro, right? It's just, I think we'll run it one more time and see how we do. I think it was just a not so good starting hand. If we get the same, if the same thing happens this game, we might change some stuff. But I think that was just a bad game. Do you have some do you have any recommendations of cheap decks besides Zoo to help grind levels? I just went from rank 12 to 16. I mean, Zoo is a very cheap deck to build, and it's very, very consistent. It's brought to almost every single tournament. But besides Zoo, a cheap deck, probably mid-range Shaman, right? I mean, there's not even any legendaries in that deck unless you want to run Alakazir, or Alazir, or whatever his name is. And you don't even have to run him, to be honest. I'm going to definitely keep that Wild Growth and get rid of everything else. It's not the best, not the worst. The Mulch is decent if he decides he wants to play that 4-drop 7/7. The Nourish is always welcome here at the end. So, like, theoretically, Innervate would be our best card. Because then we can actually Innervate out the Nourish, which would be super sick. Alright, so we're just going to Wild Growth this. We don't actually have to kill the Tunnel Trog just yet, because we have the Wrath that'll deal with it. So next turn we'll have, like, 4 mana, so we'll be able to Wrath this. So he's coining into what's probably Feral Spirits. Oh, Totemic. Please don't summon a Totem Golem. Alright, Mana Tide Totem, even worse. Because this allows... I guess both of them are pretty bad, right? So, if we play this on here, we definitely have to kill that. And I guess we'll just put some damage on the Tunnel Trog. Cannot ignore the Mana Tide Totem. Turn 5, I guess, is Nourish to get Mana Crystals. I guess, maybe. We'll have to see what we draw. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. You couldn't just give him, like, one's Mana Tide, the other one's Totem Golem? Like, we're not going to be able to win this one either. Not with this shit. If we play Fandral, it just dies. If we play the Nourish into... I guess we play Nourish into Mana Crystals, right? And then we throw out the Ass Pirate, even though she's just going to die to the Tunnel Trog. But at least it buys us a little time, so then we can, like, Sylvanish and Mulch next turn, depending on what he plays. Holy shit. Alright. Not even gonna try. Let's try a different game. Not a different game, but we'll try a rematch here. Like, holy shit, guys, what the fuck just happened? This deck testing is going horrible. It's either Ramp Druid's not the deck to play right now, or we're just getting horrible, horrible luck. Oh, yes, this is something we need to address. So if you've noticed the intro, guys, Jeff is absent in some of the intros, and then like we'll post a video and Jeff will be back. First, let me just actually address where Jeff is first. Okay, so Jeff hasn't actually been a part of the in for about 3 months now, but we just didn't say anything because we didn't really think it was that big of a deal. Eventually, we were going to change the intro when we had time, but for the time being, you know, Jeff made our intro. He didn't animate it, but he drew it, and all of our outros, he drew them, and our banner, he drew that. But to that extent, that's about all he did. He didn't make videos, he wasn't in videos, he didn't come up with video ideas, but he only drew the stuff, drew our intro and stuff. So, of course we included him in it. But then he decided he found a job, and then he went back to school, so there's no time for the in there, and so he decided he wanted to leave, which is perfectly okay. No hard feelings there. People have lives and they don't want to work for free because the channel essentially doesn't make any money, but so we couldn't pay him to do what he was doing. He would just do it to promote himself and his drawings. What do we keep here? I think we keep Vandrel. That's it. Anyway, so with Jeff leaving and letting us know he no longer wanted to be a part of the in, we took him out of the intro. And then, so when that happened, everybody asked who Jeff was. So that's where you know where Jeff went and all that good stuff. But then you're wondering why some intros have Jeff and some don't. Give me 1 second. We'll go through this turn real quickly. What do we want to do? If we make 2/1/1s, he swings, and the next turn we swing into it. Seems okay. So like, let's say I record a video today. This video that we're making now won't be posted for 2 weeks, right? So if we make an updated video and we post that on a, oh gosh, that was insane. And theoretically, we could innervate Fandral, coin Raven Idol, but then we don't kill anything on the field. We also could innervate, coin Nourish for 2 mana crystals, which again doesn't feel that great. Oh man, this is semi-difficult. I think we're just gonna kill the Tunnel Trog, right? I think so. Okay, so because of the delay in the video, depending on when we record it and when we post it, some videos have the new intro, some have the old intro. So as the time moves forward, there shouldn't be any of the ones that are old intro with Jeff in there. It should just be the new stuff. But like, let's say we make a deck guide and we want to post that tomorrow and we have the new intro available. You'll see that one. But then I'll have made a video a day before that has the old intro, and I'm not going to re-render it just because of the intro, because rendering takes at least 3 hours, and during the 3 hours, the computer cannot do anything else. I cannot record, I cannot play, I cannot search the web when a computer is rendering, and every video needs to be rendered. It takes 2 to 3 hours of it doing like nothing else but that. So hopefully that kind of answers your question there, guys. Okay, so we can innervate out Azure Drake, which doesn't feel that bad, or we could just go with the innervate Fandral Raven Idol, which doesn't feel very good. So maybe our Azure Drake will live 1 turn, and then we'll Fandral into the Raven Idol. It looks like it is going to live 1 turn, which is really sick. Double Nourish. Wow. Alright, so Fandral, coin, Raven Idol. I think Ice Howl, right? Well, the Flame allows us to play a creature now, because essentially, nah, we gotta go Ice Howl. Healing touch for sure, and then we'll kill off one of his wolves. Yeah, because the reason we picked Ice Howl is because we're just going to nourish into mana crystals so we can summon War, Fire Lord, and Ice Howl ASAP. It looks like he's just continuously going face. Okay. This is brutal. That's a lot of mana crystals. Wow. So this does 3. Holy shit. Theoretically, we should Raven Idol first, but then that... How many cards do we have in our hand? We have enough. Stop moving stuff. Alright, that was a pretty good turn for us. Not the best pick side of the Fandral. The Innervate was good because then we get to play the Ass Pirate. And then we could go ahead and Ice Howl and or Ancient War passive. We'll save the Healing Touch for when we get probably around 12. Because then we're scared of the Rockbiter, Doomhammer Rockbiter. But for now, it seems fair. This is actually going to be a 10-10 with Taunt. That's huge. Yeah, it's done. The Druid of the Claw is not bad either. Because then we could Druid of the Claw swipe.
Where shall I strike?
This is why you have to kill Fandral, guys. It's just, the card is too good for a Druid. Like, I mean, too good if you don't kill it and the Druid, like ourselves. Like, we could have Nourished again, we can War. This guy's a 4/6 with Taunt and has Charge. And then unless this guy has, like, an Elemental Destruction or something, we're pretty solid. I don't see how we're going to lose this. And then next turn, of course, we're just going to War and then Healing Touch ourselves. That just sounds so wrong. We're just going to heal ourselves. We'll just say it like that. Alright, so War for more defensive maneuvers. That's huge. That is a huge card. This can go in. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright, so maybe this deck does work. We just got unlucky. I'm sorry I'm not in the most active mood, guys. I'm extremely tired. Normally we talk through the moves. We have a ton of fun. Not that I'm not having fun. It's just tired. I'm just tired, guys. Sure, you can understand. And we also saw Tony log on, which is very surprising considering Tony, he has to be playing Overwatch or something. So Tony doesn't play Hearthstone unless he's where is he? Unless he's doing like a Tony's Trials or something. Yeah, he's just in Battle.net. Hasn't done anything past that. Alright, so we're playing against a Warrior. I think Myra Keeper and Wrath are pretty good. Let's ask Tony what he's doing, right? Maybe he'll want to do a Tony's Trials. I sent him a message earlier asking him if he wanted to do one, but he hasn't said anything. Because he goes to E3 tomorrow, which means he's not going to have time for any of that any time to make Tony's Trials while he's there. I guess we'll go with the Living Roots. Did I read his text? No, because I use my phone as a light, so we can actually, I don't know, Jeff is here still packing, and then Gabe's coming over soon, then Jordan's house. Okay. Everybody's getting ready to go to E3, and then you got me over here who can't go. Rip. So we're just gonna kill this down. Rip school. Alright, so we could go for the mana acceleration, but we have 2 5-drops anyway. So we'd have 6 mana and we wouldn't like do anything with it. We summon a 2/2, he swings his 1/3 into it, and then it turns into a 1/1. He's gonna draw at least 2 cards. We wrath that down for 3 and then swing face. It gives him initiative, and we essentially did nothing. So I guess we just go for the mana acceleration, right? I mean, do we find if we get a 2/1, 6 mana, the 3/3 goes into the 1/1, then we have a 2/1 and 3/2, and we're gonna play the Azure Drake of this next turn, and then we have that the following turn. If we go for the empty mana crystal, we're at 5, then 6. That may not die, but then he doesn't draw an extra card. So I think we'd go ahead and gain an empty mana crystal. Not tonight, tomorrow night at the hotel most likely. If not, we can skip this week. Going to play some Overwatch with Jeff until Gabe gets here. Alright. Well, this isn't bad for us at all. Well, actually, it's not the best. So, like, we wrath this, we draw 1, we swing into there, and then we're at 4 mana, which is really bad. So it's almost like we have to use our passive to kill that. Yeah, so we're going to... Yeah, so we're going to use our passive, swing into here, and then we'll use this to deal 3 damage to it. And then we'll just play the war next turn. So if we would have made the slime, he would have drew 2 cards. Or 1 extra card. And the mana acceleration isn't too bad. Alright, so it's either like an Azure Drake passive, Claw passive, or just war by itself. And what he just played right here is this Brand. That Brand needs to die ASAP. So this is going charge kitty form. I guess Ass Pirate can go out, and then we'll just swing into the Brand. There's no way that Brand is ever going to live, ever. I don't care. It has to die. There is no way any Brand lives. It's like leaving a Fandral on the field. We saw what happened last time, or when somebody doesn't kill that. So, alright, so it looks like he's gonna kill the Ass Pirate, which is interesting. Swipe. So we can taunt this, go face. We can Azure Drake passive, make trade there, or we can passive swipe. I think this is the best plan. And we just go face. It's a pretty big wall, and if he doesn't have execute, he's not getting past it. But most likely he does have execute, right? Why wouldn't he have execute? Armor up, and then the shield bash or whatever it's called. Yeah, shield slam. All right, so now we just Sonaris for the 2/2 taunts, or the 2 taunts. And the taunt should be able to block out this 4/2, theoretically. Unless he, like, brawls here. And then if he brawls, of course his 4/2 is going to live. Ah, shield slam. Rip 5/8. Alright, so I guess we'll draw with the Wild Growth. There's no reason not to. We could have played the Azure Drake first, but if we get like an 8-drop like a Rag, we'd rather play that, right? Claw. Alright. So it's either Claw Taunt Mode passive or Azure Drake passive. They both cost 5 and 1 cycles, so... We actually could innervate out the Claw, but we're not going to do that because how scared are we of Brawl? Wouldn't he have used Brawl? Maybe, maybe not. Innervating out the Claw just seems bad. Seems scary. We're not gonna do it. We attacked with our 2/2, right? Nah, I'm not paying attention. Hopefully we did. Pretty sure we did. Okay. So this is 5, 2 to everybody else. That's really nice. So Fandral into 3 brings us down to 2. But I think the swipe's just the best play here, right?
Where shall I strike?
We need to draw that mulch before he plays his Cthulhu. There's no way. So hopefully we draw into a Nourish. Nourish is very important. We run 2 of them just so we have card draw. Looks like he's getting 10 armor. Okie dokie. And then the Acolyte of Pain. Okie dokie. Of course, of course. So we play Fandral and we Living Roots. Brawl is like 100%. Maybe he just doesn't have it. But if we don't Brawl, let's say we Living Roots this, there's no value trade to be made there. There's like one of our creatures is dying no matter what, right? Like it's just gonna happen. The heck? There we go. So I guess I value the 4/6 more. We have to save Fandral for something else. We can't use him now. If we would have played him with the Living Roots, we would have saw a Brawl and then like a 1/1 lives. But we need to combo Fandral with either like a Nourish. Theoretically, a Raven Idol would be best. Like a Raven Idol into another Raven Idol is like the best thing that could happen with Fandral. Alright, Veclor. Things are getting out of hand without these Nourishes. No Nourish. It's not looking good. So if we swing, we can kill 1. And then Fandral, like, this just, oh my god. Feels bad. Feels bad. Oh man. I think we might have to put more later game cards in this deck. Like, it just seems like we're not drawing, like... We're more than halfway through a deck. We have not run into Nourish. There's still Sylvanas. There's still Wars. Or there's still 1 War. There's still a Rag. So I think we need to throw in 1 more bigger card, right? Like, it would only make sense to throw in 1 larger card. Because it seems just like we're not drawing our big stuff. Like, we have the mana, and we're just not drawing it. Swipe is pretty big here. So, I mean, playing Fandral here's... I think we have to. We cannot hold on to him any longer. Because if we draw, like, a Nourish or a War, we can't play them in the same turn. And that's the only way we're going to win, is if we start getting some decent top decks. He's already used his double... Shield Slam, and he has an Execute. 1 more left. Sylvanas is good for him here. Alright, Azure Drake. Oh, man. It's not too bad. What do we do? What do we do? Like, if he's just gonna kill this and then kill that, so there's no point to play this. Rip Fandral. He actually could probably take Fandral, but I doubt he'll do it. It's not like a huge card to take for a warrior. Okie dokie. Alright, so the only out here is Mulch. It's pretty good. And now we pray to the Hearthstone gods that he doesn't have 5 damage. I'm interested to see what card he gave him, though. Okay. I feel like Cthulhu Druid is just better than Ram Druid. It just overall has better consistency basis. Like, look at this. This is horrible. There's so many cards you can draw on Ram Druid that are just really, really bad later on. Some of them being Ass Pirate and things like this. Alright, so what can we add to the deck that would make this better? I think Ysera is one of those cards. You know what I mean? Like, Ysera is just, you play Ysera, they don't kill it, you win. It's just one of those cards. So, we're getting rid of, these guys did not help us at all. The Rage is in here, so when we play Freeze Mage, we stand a chance. But I actually don't mind taking out the Rage. Like, it just doesn't, it hasn't come in clutch at all. Zero clutchness with this card. Alright, so we need to put in some big guns in here. They already have a ton of taunts. Chromacus is actually pretty good because of all the draw on the deck. So, like, you play Chromacus, right? And then you play Azure Drake, you draw 2. You play Wrath, you draw 2. Wild Growth, you draw 2. So I actually don't mind the Chromacus, to be completely honest. Who the heck is calling me? Alright, give me a second, guys. Putting this back. I actually kind of have to go after this because I have to actually grab that call. Sorry, this deck testing was a little bit shorter than normal, but it was not intended. We're missing out on 3 drops, though. I think this is just too much late game. I'm not used to playing such late game cards. I feel, oh man, I think 2 9-drops too much. Since this is good, that's fine. We need 2 cards. I feel like Harrison, right? No, because we already have too many 5-drops. We need something on 4 besides these. What's a good 4-drop creature that guarantees some decent value? Keeper of the Grove. Maybe. Maybe. There's Savage Combatant. That's pretty good. I don't mind a Savage Combatant at all. But I really don't mind Keeper of the Grove either. Maybe 1 and 1 and we'll see how it does. Yeah, let's go 1 and 1 and we'll see how it does. I don't really see, I don't find an issue with Keeper of the Grove. Could work out fairly well. Alright. So we'll test this out in our next deck testing video. As always, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'm Warshak, of course, and happy whatever the hell day it is.